Hey, good morning. It's Coach Jill, and I'm here with Coach Penny and Coach Paula. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And we are live. This is our Tuesday morning group coaching call. If you are watching us, type in the chat. Let us know that you're here joining us. And we're going to jump in and get started. We had a great call last night. I loved last night's call. It was awesome. And we're going to kind of recap some of what we talked about last night and dig into a few things. If you have specific questions today as we're going through the material, please feel free to drop that in the chat, and we'll get your questions answered for you. So first of all, for all those who are new and joining us, I want to welcome you to the program. Really glad that you're here with us, and it's going to be an exciting journey these next 90 days. And for those who are in the middle of your journey, we're still glad that you're here with us. We're changing up the format a little bit on these calls, so you're going to notice that this is a little bit different. If you have specific questions about the week that you're in, you can drop those in the chat. We'll get those questions answered for you. But we're going to touch on some other things today other than just what's going on in your specific week. So please ask your questions. This is the place to do that. Yesterday was Monday, which everyone knows Monday is results day, and you need to turn in your results. Hey, Nicolette.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent, excellent. We're just getting started.
Awesome.
So yes, Monday is results day. You need to make sure that you turn in those results on Mondays to your coach so that we can take a look at that and add any customizations that need to happen in your program. So make sure that you let us know what questions you have as we move forward. But let's dig in. I'm going to dig into some of the things that we covered last night on the call. First thing that we talked about was failing forward, and this is a huge concept, and it's a concept that we focus on a lot here at Fit Life, is this idea of failing forward. And oftentimes people think that if they've had a bad day, maybe it started out bad, or maybe halfway through the day things just didn't go right, that the whole day is shot, and that's not the case. That's really not the case. Those little slip-ups are not meant to be the end-all and be-all, and we talked about this last night. There is no such thing as falling off the wagon. There just really isn't. That concept doesn't exist, especially when you start with this program, because we're going to teach you about failing forward, and we're going to teach you how to turn those failures into successes by looking at them as stepping stones rather than tombstones. You may have previously looked at a bad day of eating as the worst thing that ever happened, and you're horrible. You can't stay on a diet, and that's not how we're going to look at this. Things happen. Sometimes we have, stress, minor slip-ups, whatever the case be, and they happen. And rather than looking at it as, oh my gosh, I am just so awful, I can't stay on this diet, I want you to turn that around and look at it differently. And instead think about, okay, this happened. Why did it happen? And what can I do to not allow this to happen again, or to change the circumstances around this the next time that this occurs? So maybe it was that you didn't drink enough water that day. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep the night before. And sometimes there are circumstances beyond our control, and those we just have to say, you know what, it is what it is. And you do the best that you can with what you know. So, one of the things that we really try and focus in on is the fact that we try and look at each of these incidents as an opportunity for growth. So start to really change the way that you're thinking about things. Turn those negatives into positives. So rather than looking at a day of what all went wrong today, focus in on what went right. Oftentimes I have had clients who get on a call with me and they'll say, I just had a horrible, horrible week. And when we start to dig into what they did right, suddenly the whole mood and the attitude change, and they're like, oh my gosh, I really had a pretty good week. I guess I did do really good. And that's the thing. You can do this in your own life every single day. Turn those negatives into positive. Search for the pluses that you did do instead of looking at something that you didn't do. And suddenly you're going to find that your energy is going to change, your attitude is going to change, and you're going to move from that, I can't, and to an attitude of, you know what, I can get through this day. I can make this a successful day very easily. You know, and sometimes we have roadblocks that come up, whether they be with, you know, our nutrition, with juicing, with fitness, even with mindset, we'll get roadblocks that come up. And you really need to look at those as not the worst thing in the world, but maybe it's a challenge to get you up to the next level. Maybe it's, you know, something that you need to still face. If you're having, one of my favorite things to deal with is trigger foods. What do you do when you have those trigger foods? We all have our own trigger foods. How do you deal with that? What do you do? And as I've talked about before, my trigger food is ice cream. It cannot be in my house. It just cannot, because it calls to me from the freezer, and you know, I don't bring it in. I don't go down that aisle in the grocery store. I stay away from there, and that's the way that I deal with that. Paula, Penny, what about you? What are some of your trigger foods? How do you make that into a positive rather than a negative?
Mine happens to be the same. I'm a huge ice cream person. I don't keep it in the house, and if I'm gonna have it, I have to go out and buy it, and I usually only get it from someplace that's either fresh ice cream or like a soft serve. I will not buy it at the grocery store, because to go in and try to tell myself I'm only going to buy one is just not going to happen. So not only do I have to buy it, I'm probably paying $3-4 for that serving. So you're not going to do that all the time. So for me, it's probably something that I will satisfy that craving, but not at the first whim. I'm going to 5 days at the gym, or, you know, there's got to be for me, I have to set something to it. Like, not that I'm rewarding myself with that food per se, but I know that for myself, after a long time period or whatever it is, I just need a small taste. So to do that is satisfying to me. It still tastes good. There have been many foods along the way that I thought I had to have, like cookies. I was a big cookie person. I could care less about cookies. I thought they were going to be really good, or nachos, or pizza, and then you think you're missing it so bad, and then you taste it, and it's like, not only did it not taste as good, it probably make you feel like crap. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of things that I just don't give in to the other things. If someone else is eating it and it's there, I can easily say, no, it's not a problem, but ice cream is a problem. So it's very calculated when I do have it, and I think I deserve it, right? It's not that you're going to live your rest of your life without all of the things that you love. You just need to. It can't be the 90% of the time you're eating the bad stuff, right? It's
exactly.
Oh, they're coming everywhere. So, anyways, that's how I deal with it.
Penny, how about you?
Mine is the same, ice cream. It's the one thing that I want badly. Not anymore so much, but you know, it's like my real test is when I go to stay with my mom, because she loves it. She's 93. She can have it. Who cares? Like, you know, let her have whatever she wants. But she wants me to eat it with her. I'm like, no, don't make me. But the one good thing is she buys their little cups, little individual cups. I'd say maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons in it, if that. And occasionally, if I really feel like I can have it, I'll have that. And it's 1 cup and you're done. I can do that. Mm-hmm. I can't, if it's in a big container, I don't know where to stop with that. And so I don't buy it. I don't keep it in my house. I mean, that's the way I solve it for me. I stay away from it. I'm not tempted to buy it when I go to the grocery store. I can walk past it. It doesn't call to me like it used to. So I think that's a big part of it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Can I add one more thing? The other thing is I never have it when I'm sad or mad at myself because the day didn't go right. I'm not going to cap it off with a big old fat ice cream at the end of the day. So I think that makes a difference too. It's a conscious decision, and through the program we learn about that, you know, setting down your fork, mindful eating. I know what I'm doing. I'm in control of that decision. Totally different than just going on I'm going to eat whatever because I fell off the wagon, making the excuse I can do what I want, I'll start tomorrow. No, it doesn't come at that time. You know, it's calculated, it's a decision, it's an enjoyment, it's you know, that kind of thing.
It's a treat. It's a treat.
It's a true treat.
Yeah, and these are the pieces that it's knowing what your trigger foods are, and whatever they are. And we've had clients who've had trigger foods like crazy, all different ones, and it's recognizing that that's an issue. But as you move forward, you're going to find that number one, it either doesn't become a trigger food for you anymore, or you know how to deal with it. And like Paula said, you maybe you're going to set it as a goal. I'm going to work out, you know, for 5 days in the gym, and you know, if I make that success, and who knows, you know what? By the time you get to the end of that 5 days of working out, you feel so good about what you did and what you accomplished that suddenly it doesn't seem worth it to go and have that treat anymore, and you're like, maybe I want to do something else.
Or maybe you work through it and now isn't the time to do that. I know when we go on vacation, you know, we're all together and there's a particular ice cream place and I'm not going to torture myself. Doesn't mean I'm going to have it, but I'm going there with the mindset that it's a possibility. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I've been there plenty of times where they've all had and I haven't because it's not what I wanted at the time. So.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something that just came to mind as we were talking about this too. And you know, there's times when you are going to have special occasions, whether it be a family vacation, family party, and things like that. And when these things come up, yes, you know, we always encourage you to plan for this and prep ahead if you can. And sometimes it just is not the case. And that's really not the time. If this happens and you're off track, it's not the time to beat yourself up. It really isn't. Realize that this is an occasion where maybe you had the best of intentions, it happened, and so you move forward and try and find something positive. So then maybe you're going to, you know what, you're going to go out and you're going to take an extra walk in for that day, or you're going to hit the gym an extra day that week. Whatever that looks like for you. Don't try and say, oh my gosh, I'm just such a bad person. No. You know what? Turn it around and make it into a positive. Just change that thinking around it. So figure out, okay, how can I best recover from this? What can I do to get myself back on track and move forward for this? Maybe it's drinking more water. You know what? Maybe it's just letting it go and saying, it happened. Done. You know, live in the now, not in the past. So it's really this whole mindset piece that focuses so much throughout this program, and we weave this into every aspect of this program because it's such an important piece through this entire, well, not even just through the entire 90 days, it's going to be for the rest of your life that you're going to be working with this mindset piece. And how can I live my life to the fullest? What can I do to find the most success with this? And one of the number one pieces to this and mindset and success and all of this is planning. You know, planning ahead. You've got to take that time to plan ahead. You know, so many times I will hear clients say, I couldn't stay on track. And the first question that will come out is, did you plan ahead? And you get that silence and it's like, no. And so take that time. Take that time to plan out your week. Really do take the time. It's essential. It's an essential piece to finding success, you know, not only in this 90 days, but for the rest of your life moving forward. staying on track, whether it be for your keeping your weight loss, whether it be, keeping your health in check, whether it be, keeping that lean muscle that you wanted. No matter what your goal is, no matter what your starting goal is, to maintain those successes, you really do need to plan ahead. And it becomes a discipline. It's just like a habit. They say, what is it? I think it's 21 days to make a habit. Well, you know what? You need to make those habits and keep them going. So you've got to continue that as you move forward. One of the other pieces that we also touched on last night, and I think it's so crucial as you start this transformation and even as you continue transformation, is really starting your day off with gratitude. And I think this is a huge piece to moving forward in the right frame of mind with the program. And, so find that maybe 30 seconds to a minute in the morning where you can, have some gratitude for whatever. Maybe it's the fact that you woke up today and you're breathing and you're upright. Maybe it's, that you have a roof over your head and you can put food on the table. Whatever that looks like for you, take those few minutes each morning, and I do it morning and evening, and find what you're grateful for. Find that gratitude in your life and push forward. And once you start to do that, even just that 30 seconds once a day is going to start to change your thinking as you move forward in this program. And you're going to find that suddenly you're going to be grateful for so many more things, and things are going to start to fall into place. And you're going to want to plan ahead for your weeks, and you're going to want to move your body, and you're going to want to continue with this journey because it feels so fulfilling. Your life is feeling so fulfilling. Paula, Penny, as you went through the program, how did that change you, starting out with that gratitude piece?
Well, it puts a whole different spin on your day. Mm-hmm. So it makes you start out positive, and if you were someone who came from a place of not liking mornings, or whatever the morning routine is, getting the kids out, that kind of thing, I think it sets you up for less bad mornings and more better days. Mm-hmm. And the more you practice it, the more those bad mornings, or the traffic on the way to work, or the news that you hear on the radio as you're listening, whatever it is, it doesn't have that same effect on you. You're able to keep positive and longer and more consistent.
Love that. Penny, you want to add?
Okay. This was like a new experience for me, the gratitude part. And so I was a little, I didn't really know what to do with it, or how to do it, or what does this mean. And so I did some reading on it, and I read an article or something somewhere that said, just start by saying thank you. Just, focus on, thank you. Just say the words thank you. And so I was sitting in bed one night and I was reading this. I'm like, okay, well, let's just try it. And so I sat there, I closed my eyes, and I focused and just said thank you. And it said, do this 20 times. That's all you have to do. Say thank you 20 times. I'm like, okay, anybody can do that. By the 7th thank you, I was in tears. And I'm not a crier. I don't cry easily at anything. And it caught me so off guard, and it was like, I'll never forget that experience, ever. It was a real turning point for me in what those two little words can do when you focus on them and feel thankful.
Yeah.
And you start realizing what you have to be thankful for. You might think, oh, I'm not happy here, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then when you realize how much more you have than everybody else, you may not be where you want to be, but there's plenty of things everybody has to be grateful for.
Yeah.
So it was a real change for me.
I agree. Nicolette, you're live with us on here. How do you incorporate gratitude into your daily routine?
That's something that I've done for a bit, and I kind of fade in and out of it. But first thing when I wake up, I like roll my wrists and my ankles, and if my cat is there that I adopted in December by accident, um, first thing I say thank you for is this fur ball of love, and to have my handsome new lover boy, and then thank you for my health, and my home, and basic things, and then I try and think deeper. Okay, these are things I always am thankful for. These are things that I'm every day immediately. These are surrounding me. Thank you for a nice soft bed. Thank you for this my grandmother's ancient down pillows that are the only things that aren't too high for my neck. And so I think if there's immediate, and then try and reach out further for things that I'm grateful for, and maybe even things that haven't come to pass yet, and say them as the I am, it has happened kind of idea.
Yeah.
So I do that in the morning. Wake up.
I love that. Yeah, and and no matter how you decide to do this, no matter what it is that moves you, to be grateful for, just one thing. Find one thing each day to start out with, and you will find that it's going to grow. It's going to grow. And I remember, it was probably a year ago, Drew had done a video, and he talked about he uses mala beads in meditation. And I also have a set of those, and for anybody who's not familiar with those, it's very similar to a rosary. And there's 108 beads on there. So he would touch on each bead and find something he was grateful for. And I started doing that. I thought, do I have 108 things to get through that I can be grateful for? And I do. I usually run out of beads. And it's really interesting when you start to do that. You start on the first bead. By the time you get to that 108th bead, you're so full of joy and peace and positive energy. It feels so good. So I encourage you, find something, even if it's your 10 fingers and your 10 toes, find some way to, work through your gratitude each day. And, I remember, I think it said, if you can find 5 things, use your 5 fingers, find 5 things to be grateful for. Start there. And suddenly it is going to blossom into this immense amount of gratitude in your life, and you're going to find that no matter what happens in your life, no matter whether it's with your nutrition, the juicing, the fitness, the mindset, any of it, no matter what, you're going to be able to get through this. You're going to be able to push forward and find the positives in it. No matter what kind of day you had, you're going to find the pieces that matter to you. So I encourage you, start off that way and really start to focus in on some of these pieces. It's the piece that really makes us here at FitLife unique, and I love that. I love that we really focus in on the mindset. But I want to take the last couple of minutes here, when we have about 6 minutes. Any questions on this upcoming week? Nicolette, Oliver, I know you're watching. Oliver, if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat. Nicolette, any questions?
Yeah, I thought I tried to do all the drop-down menus and look through everything. I do not see any videos for a foam roller, and it's mentioned a couple of times in text, saying as part of the to open up the lymphatic system is use our foam roller video. It doesn't seem to exist anywhere in the platform.
Okay, we'll find it for you.
Okay. I'd like to know something different other than just rolling on my IT band.
Oh gosh, I love. Yeah, you can roll. Foam rolling is so good for you. Everything.
I actually have a set of the fascia balls to get in even deeper. And when I go to a class, that's easy. The time just runs away. Doing it by myself, after 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, what, squirrel?
I love it.
So didn't you do a video on that? Not squirrels, but on foam rollers.
I don't know enough about foam rollers.
Yes, and there are several different kinds. There's the standard,
That's what I do.
Yeah, there's the standard one. Then I actually did a video, and I'll get it posted. It's called Tiger Tail Stick, and
I have that one.
I was using that when I was having issues with my knee. So that one you actually roll it over the tissue.
Yeah.
And yes, there are. I actually have a little magnetic, two little magnetic balls that are in a roller too, and that's great. It gets the blood flow going with the magnets. We'll get some videos posted for you. We'll get those in the membership and get those up so that you can see those. And yeah, it's fantastic. And you can get on the floor and roll.
Mm-hmm.
You can stand against a wall and roll. I actually rolled against the wall for a long time before I was able to get down to the floor with my niece. So lots and lots of options. We'll get those posted for you, definitely.
Yeah, I don't have a chunk of wall big enough for my roller. It's the traditional white foam, like, I don't know, it must like 3.5 feet long or something.
Yeah.
They're big. So.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get those posted for you. And you can definitely, there's no part of your body that you cannot foam roll. And it's some of it, I'll tell you, I like to do it in the privacy of my bedroom because when I first started doing it, I looked very awkward rolling on a foam roller, but it felt so good, and it's so good for you. So, yeah, we'll get some resources for you. No problem. Any other questions, Nicolette?
I just got my tropical BACs yesterday, but I haven't gotten to try them yet. I'm doing my lemon water first.
Yes. Yay.
Well, we'll see how I do on that, and hope that helps with cravings because I've been the portions on this diet are a little small for me, and I'm hypoglycemic. I am honestly hungry every 2 hours for a good reason to save the lives of others around me. So I'm having a hard time keeping that 2.5 to 3 hours between food because I'm always hungry.
Penny, you want to chime in there?
You can, are you eating your snacks? Do you have are you just juicing? What is it I'm doing?
Eating the meals. For breakfast at the beginning, I was doing like chia seed pudding with the coconut and the almonds and the, blueberries. Now I'm trying to do green smoothies and for breakfast, and then for lunch I'll do like a salad, and then for dinner, like I had made myself a batch of, excellent grade hamburger with mushrooms and onions and bell peppers and all that kind of stuff, and then a side thing of sautéed kale that I just would throw in the microwave and have that. I took out of the freezer some homemade. How I do my chicken soup is I make bone broth, and then I go back in and for another half an hour throw in all the stuff the same ingredients I just ripped out of it, the trifecta and the chicken I had taken off the bone. So I had like chicken soup. So, it's not anything off from how I was eating before. And then my snacks, definitely I have more than a handful of nuts, whether it be macadamia nuts, almonds, sunflower seeds, and I only eat raw nuts.
What's your water intake like?
Getting better. I've been struggling with the 80 because I usually only do maybe 50. And I have like 4 water bottles. So I just fill them all so I can tell at the end of the day, and I have one by my computer, one in the kitchen, one, and by the end of the day I pour them all so that I can tell how much of them I've consumed. And then my giant thing of lemon and apple cider vinegar, which I use an entire lemon. So,
yeah. Often when you're hungry, you're dehydrated.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if the more water you begin to consume, if that will lessen your hunger. Because I know that was true for me because I didn't drink any water at all, ever. And so for me, it was at first overwhelming. 80 ounces, I'm like, there's no way I'm getting that in. I wouldn't drink 2 a day, much less 80. Now, no problem. But, and like you, I was hungry all the time. But the more water, once I actually became hydrated, fully hydrated, it was more food than I could eat. But I was very similar to you at that point. So I'm wondering if your hydration has something to do with it.
That's a good probability.
The other thing that I would also recommend, Nicolette, that I'm hearing is that make sure that you are getting enough veggies at each meal. Realize that, like, this is a standard serving of vegetables, especially for your greens. You know, you can have a lot of greens at a meal. So make sure that you're getting in enough at each meal as well.
Right. Okay.
Do you put protein powder in your smoothies? Do you add protein to that? Or?
I'm still trying to learn your guys' way of doing it. I actually, because I'm so busy with my other class and life and work at the same time, that last night I actually dug through the program all the way through to level 4, and at that point was when I came across how to make really make a smoothie, and I'm taking this with me to the market, the Dirty Dozen. So now I see that, you know, the smoothies, you do that. I did do that the other night, kind of where I used coconut milk, spinach, protein powder. I don't put fruit in. If I do, it's only like half a green apple ever in my smoothies because I'm hypoglycemic. So I don't even really use carrots because they're more sugar than the green apple. I do throw in healthy fats where I either put in avocado or coconut oil or MCT oil. And then I'm a raw chocolate fiend. I make my own raw chocolate with coconut oil, raw cacao, and stevia, or throw cacao nibs in to give me more energy, because it is a stimulant, you know. And so for me, chocolate stuff tends to be, I don't know if it's a trigger food or not, because it's not like raw chocolate's really terrible for you. You know, I'm doing cold pressed, organic, you know, good sourced stuff that is, you know, it's the highest antioxidant of anything on the planet. It's, you know.
Nicolette, do you find yourself, are you craving chocolate, or that's just your go-to food?
That's the thing that I can't quite figure out when you guys say the trigger food. I'm like, is it a go-to or am I craving it? I think I'm craving it, like I want something in it. Like I want the energy from it, the stimulant, that kind of thing. And there's something about it, and I almost wonder if my body wants the antioxidant property.
I think what your body is craving is the magnesium from it. Do you take a magnesium supplement?
If I think about it beforehand, I take the powdered stuff, and I don't take the Calm. I take the one that's even nastier than that. That's the AB magnesium, which is like the real stuff. If I think about that enough before bed to drink it, that it's not going to keep me up drinking another cup of water. Otherwise, by my bed, I have magnesium in pill form that I take 2 of them. So I'm taking, and I think they're 400 each, so I'm taking about 800 milligrams before bed, and I take something called D-limonene, which is actually the oil from orange peels, and that helps me fall asleep and has all kinds of other wonderful stuff.
Okay. That would be my, it sounds like you're taking a lot of magnesium, so I would say chocolate is sounding more like a trigger food for you than a deficient. And as long as you're, you know, you do want to kind of limit your chocolate intake a little bit. I know it. I know it's, even though it's got good things in it. Usually we recommend 1 square per day. So I would try and maintain it to 1 square per day. Cut that back a little bit.
Where do you find that information? I haven't seen that anywhere. Is that just word of mouth?
Yeah, lots of research. Lots of research. There still are sugars in there, and so that's why I say we really limit it to 1 square per day for you.
Okay. Are there actual sugars? No. There's 0 sugars in dried. Where's my camera?
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, 0 sugars.
Okay.
And really, it's 9 carbohydrates for 3 tablespoons. So that's not, and that's not a
Okay.
lot. So, and I use stevia or monk fruit as my sweetener. It's just something that I
Yeah.
guess is a
Yeah. Penny will keep an eye on that with you. I want to answer Oliver's question here real quick because we're running short on time. Oliver says, I'm currently working out about 4 times a week with this meal plan. It seems I won't be able to have enough food. The concept of the amount of energy you give out, the amount of food you have to intake to rebuild, what are your thoughts about someone who's trying to build lean mass gradually, not bulking? Oliver, good question. Make sure that you are taking enough. Now, the way the meal plan is laid out, the meal plan is the servings are pretty much laid out for the ladies in our program. So you're going to want to increase that by, you're going to have 1.5 servings for yourself to make sure that you are getting enough in, especially when you're building lean muscle mass. So you want to make sure that you're eating enough for that. And like we stressed a few minutes ago, you got to make sure that you get all 3 meals and the snacks in as well. It's really important, especially whether you're looking to lose weight or whether you're looking to put on that lean muscle, you've got to feed your body properly. So, increase your portion sizes by about a half, and you're going to report in and let us know how you're doing with that, okay? With that, we're going to wrap up for today. Great questions. This was an awesome call. Thanks, guys. If you have other questions, please make sure you're connecting with your coach and let us know how we can help you. So have a great day, everybody, and a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.